Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast synopsis, in as part of the series, the synopsis as part of the series, the Squorm and Paxhydermatous, and this audio podcast is part of the Besiege Squad, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. Through this synopsis, and as part of this audio podcast series, there will be a sort of a look back at some there will be a look at some reflections in regard to some online online webinars that have taken place, and these webinars are in around different aspects aligned to pediatrics and young people healthcare services, but also in line to the sciences of laboratory medicine, and also in as part of research seminars, in around a research seminar, but also in as part of Healthcare Science Week as well. So the reflections will be more specifically in around webinars pertaining to the International Pediatric Association, and where the IPA had a webinar that looked at protecting children from mycotoxins in a changing climate. And then there will be some reflections looking at a joint seminar which took a joint online sort of pediatric young people seminar, which actually was a link between the International Pediatric Nephrology Association, IPNA, and the ASPN, the American Society of Pediatric Nephrology, where the joint seminar was where several speakers talked in around sort of updates in around particular aspects of in around kidney care services or pediatric nephrology services, and in context of updates in relating to the World Health Organization, WHO, and where, for example, there had been updates in around lessons learned in around the history of kidney health resolution and pediatric kidney care. Then there will be some reflections looking at Health Science Week, and where Health Science Week was where the webinar had speakers talking about presenters talking about from the sciences, talking about aspects pertaining to engineering sciences, health informatics sciences, laboratory sciences, physical and imaging sciences, and physiological sciences, and then there'll be a webinar, a reflection in around some works that have been put forward, some reflections that have been put forward, reflections in regard to some works that have been put forward for the IBMS Awards 2026, and where the reflections will be in regards to sort of collaborative efforts between the Renal Patient Support Group, RPSG, and the Kidney Disease and Renal Support Group and KDAR's Group for Kids, and aligned to works in collaboration with academia, And then there will be some reflections looking at in around a research seminar which was in around looking at the research seminar which was in relating to the RCAD seminar, and it was a research seminar that took place in one of the academic institutions in the Midlands, UK, and it was a seminar that brought in or had brought together various researchers in around different specialties and disciplines to talk about aspects of their works. So there'll be a reflection in around this particular research seminar that took place, the RCAD, and then finally there'll be a reflection. Reflection on an IPNA webinar, an IPNA webinar which looked at which had speakers talking about in around the theme preventing or precluding kidney diseases across a lifespan from birth to childhood, and it was where the IPNA webinar was an interactive webinar, and so there will be a sort of reflection as part of a reflection as part of that particular seminar that took place, and there will also be a reflection that looks at reflection on a STEM meeting, a meeting that took place in around a STEM meeting that took place in one of the academic institutions in the Midlands in UK, where the STEM representative hosted a meeting looking at a basis of where invited myself to talk about aspects of some updates and around some anticipated works aligned to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and there'll be a reflection in reflections in as part of that particular meeting that took place as well. So that will be in as part of this series, some reflections across some important sort of seminars or webinars, and some reflections in around some meetings as part of this series. And the basis is that those who listen in or check in on Storm Robotics and check out the works around Storm Robotics can look to get some understandings and some ways of sort of getting updates in around aspects of aligned to the sciences, laboratory medicine and pathology, but also in line to works aligned to healthcare and healthcare services. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast synopsis as part of the Squorm and the Paxhydermatous. This audio podcast as part of the Besieged Squad. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. Thank you.